Hey, have you ever just been out on a walk, maybe in a park or just down your street, and you stop for a second and really look around at the sheer number of different things that are alive? From the smallest little bug to the biggest, oldest tree, our planet is just buzzing with life. Today, we're going to dive into that. Think of this as your personal user's guide to the living world. And yeah, it really does all start with just paying attention. I mean, look at this scene right here. You've got so many different living things all coexisting in one little area. Every bird, every butterfly, every single type of plant, they're all unique pieces of this massive biological puzzle. And this is where our story begins. Okay, so that brings us to our first big idea, really getting a handle on this world that is just absolutely packed with life. Now, scientists, of course, have a word for all this incredible variety. They call it biodiversity. It's basically the whole spectrum of life you'd find in any given place. Every plant, every animal, even the stuff you can't see. It's how we measure just how vibrant and rich an ecosystem really is. And this diversity goes way beyond just what we can see. It's in the sounds you hear, too. You know, even the chirp of each kind of bird is totally unique. It's like this incredible symphony of life that's playing out all the time, in every single corner of the globe. So that raises a pretty massive question, right? When you're faced with this almost overwhelming amount of variety, how on earth do you even start to make sense of it all? How do you even begin to study it? Well, that's where this next part comes in. We're talking about the science of grouping. It's all about how we create some order out of the beautiful chaos of the natural world. I want you to think about a library for a second. If you just walked in and saw a giant random pile of books on the floor, it'd be completely useless, right? We organize them so we can actually find what we're looking for. Well, scientists do the exact same thing with the living world. They need a system to navigate all that complexity. And here's the thing. This system, which we call classification, isn't just about being neat. It's the foundation of biology. It makes it possible to study organisms in a manageable way. It helps us see the connections, the similarities between different species. And just as important, it shines a spotlight on the key differences that make each branch of life so unique. Let's look at a really simple example with plants. Just by looking at a couple of basic things, like how tall they are and what their stem is like, we can start making some pretty logical groups. So a short plant with a soft green stem like a tomato, we call that a herb. But a really tall one with a thick woody stem like a mango, that's a tree. This basic process of sorting by features is exactly how it all starts. All right, let's move on, because this all builds on itself. It's not just about what an organism is, it's also about where it lives. We're talking about finding a place to call home. The scientific name for that home is a habitat, but it's so much more than just an address. A habitat is basically an organism's entire life support system. It's what provides the specific food, the water, and the shelter that it absolutely needs to survive. Just look at these two incredible animals. A tiger has stripes to blend into the shadows of a dense forest. A cheetah has that lean, muscular body built for explosive speed across open grasslands. They both live on land, they're both terrestrial habitats, but these totally different environments created two very, very different predators. So if we zoom way out, we can pretty much divide all habitats into two main categories. You've got terrestrial life, which is everything living on land, and you've got aquatic life, which is everything living in water. And believe me, those are two fundamentally different worlds, each with its own unique set of rules for survival. And the special link between an organism and its habitat, that's something we call adaptation. These are those special features, like the cheetah's speed or a fish's gills, that are perfectly designed to help a living thing not just survive, but thrive in its specific environment. Okay, so we've talked about what diversity is, how we organize it, and where all these things live. But all of that leads us to the biggest, and maybe the most important question of all. Why does any of this matter? It matters because in nature, nothing exists in a vacuum. Everything is connected. I mean, think about this classic example. A tree gives a bird a safe place to build a nest. In return, when the bird eats the tree's fruit, it flies off and spreads the seed somewhere else, helping a new tree to grow. It's this beautiful, self-sustaining loop. And protecting these complex, interconnected systems takes real effort and real dedication. And that brings me to the story of a true conservation hero, Salim Ali, and the amazing bird he devoted his life to protecting, the great Indian bustard.
This man was known as the Birdman of India, and for good reason. His life's work is the perfect example of how studying nature leads to protecting it. He traveled all across the country, carefully documenting where birds lived and where they migrated. And then, and this is the key part, he used that science, that data, to fight for the conservation of those crucial areas. His work was so important he even earned one of India's highest civilian honors. It just proves that understanding is always the first step to protection.
Salim Ali's work really brings a critical danger into focus. What happens when a habitat, that life support system we were just talking about, gets damaged or totally destroyed? The answer is simple, and it's not good. We lose biodiversity. Think about it. When that whole system gets pulled out from under them, when their homes and their food just vanish, the animals and plants that were perfectly adapted to that place have nowhere to go. They disappear. And the really crucial thing to understand is that this isn't a temporary setback. It's forever. That link in the chain is just broken. And that really puts the responsibility squarely on our shoulders, doesn't it? The diversity of life on Earth isn't a guarantee. It's a fragile legacy that we have to protect. So the question this leaves for all of us is, what are we going to do to make sure our planet remains this vibrant, amazing, interconnected world for all the generations to come?